Welcome to episode 62 of I Wrote This News. Today is Tuesday, March 8, 2022. Take a deep breath and inhale the day. It's time for some news. Today's headline: Prince Andrew offers to help maintain Prince William's helicopter. Queen Elizabeth II has reportedly urged her grandson Prince William, who is second in line to British throne, to stop flying helicopters himself with his family. We're quoting GeoNews, which quoted the Daily Mail, which quoted The Sun. It reported that the 95-year-old monarch has asked the Duke of Cambridge to stop flying helicopters himself with Kate Middleton and their children because she is terrified that disaster could strike. The Queen has told William she was worried that, however good he is as a pilot, bad weather and accidents can strike at any time. It further said, "This is more than grandmotherly advice such as, quote, don't run with scissors, or, quote, wait at least an hour to swim after you eat, or, quote, if you keep that up, someone's going to lose an eye." Instead, the Queen specifically fears that an accident could threaten the line of succession. The current heir apparent is Prince Charles. In line for succession after Charles are William, then his 3 children by order of age. Were all of them to perish, on deck is Prince Harry, and then his kids. As there is a chance that none of them would be game, that leaves Prince Andrew. All of which to say, wiping out one family and leaning on another could have a lot of upside for Prince Andrew. March 8th is the 67th day of the year on the Gregorian calendar. 298 days remain until the end of the year. Happy International Women's Day. International Women's Day is a global holiday celebrated annually to commemorate the cultural, political, and socioeconomic achievements of women. It is also a focal point in the women's rights movement, bringing attention to issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, and violence and abuse against women. Here are just a few women who have shaped history in a significant way. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away in September 2020, the United States mourned the loss of one of its foremost champions of gender equality. Throughout her career as an attorney, judge, and associate justice of the Supreme Court, Ginsburg's commitment to the principle of equal justice under the law transformed the legal landscape in the U.S., particularly for women. Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was born into slavery but found her freedom traveling alone via the Underground Railroad. She would go on to free around 300 enslaved people in the years that followed. Emmeline Pankhurst. As the iron-willed leader of the Women's Franchise League and later the Women's Social and Political Union, Emmeline Pankhurst fought for women's right to vote in the United Kingdom. By any means, Pankhurst believed that it was necessary to go beyond civil disobedience in support of her cause, claiming in one 1908 speech, quote, "It is because we realize that the condition of our sex is so deplorable that it is our duty even to break the law." She argued that unless women were given political power, the laws of the country wouldn't have an equal standard of morals. Rosa Parks. During the 1950s, U.S. society was largely segregated between black and white citizens, including on public transport. On December 1, 1955, seamstress Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, for which she was arrested. In response, Parks mobilized the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People to boycott buses and draw national attention to inhumane segregation laws in the southern states. After successfully challenging the law and seeing segregation ruled unconstitutional by the courts, Parks continued as a prominent voice and symbol of courage in the civil rights movement. Frida Kahlo. Despite later becoming one of the most celebrated and recognized artists of the 20th century, Frida Kahlo spent much of her early life bedridden and in agonizing pain. She contracted polio at a young age and was involved in a horrific bus accident when she was only 18 years old. However, it was during her long recovery that Kahlo found her love of art, in time developing her unique style that would become recognizable around the world. Kahlo shaped the world of contemporary artists of color, bringing personality and politics into self-portraiture. Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou was an actor, dancer, and journalist, and is recognized as one of the most important figures in modern American literature. Following childhood sexual abuse and trauma, Angelou became unable to speak for several years. But later, she found her voice through her writing. As an adult, she became involved in the civil rights movement and befriended both Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. Gertrude Stein. In her work as an avant-garde writer and dedicated patron to modern artists, Gertrude Stein rebelled against the patriarchy. Along with her brother Leo, Stein cultivated relationships with Parisian bohemians at their Saturday night salon. In time, invitations to the Stein salon became the most sought after in Paris. According to the Poetry Foundation, quote, "Stein helped shape an artistic movement that demanded a novel form of expression and a conscious break with the past." Thanks to all the women, famous and not, who have shifted the arc of human progress for the better. Now it's time for On This Date in History. On this day in 1702, Queen Anne, the younger sister of Mary II, becomes Queen Regnant of England, Scotland, and Ireland. 1910, French aviator Raymond de Larroche becomes the first woman to receive a pilot's license. 1950, the iconic Volkswagen Type 2 bus begins production. 1979, Philips demonstrates the compact disc publicly for the first time. Celebrating birthdays today are actress Sue Ann Langdon, ballerina Lynn Seymour, Olympic speed skater Lydia Skoblikova, Olympic track star Ann Packer, actress Susan Clark, Monkees singer Mickey Dolenz, musician and co-founder of the Eagles, Randy Meisner, musician Carol Bayer-Sager, baseballer Jim Rice, actor Aidan Quinn, and actor Freddie Prinze Jr. Happy birthday to all of them, and if your birthday is today, a very happy birthday to you as well. By the way, if you or someone you know is having a birthday and would like us to announce it on the show, leave us a voice message or send an email. The links are in the show notes. Today's news was brought to us by 30 and Wikipedia. If you have a comment or a question about anything you've heard today, or if you have a suggestion, please send us a note at IWTN, all one word, at thatradioshow.com. That email address one more time is IWTN, all one word, at thatradioshow.com.
One more thing, if this podcast sounds a little funny, that's because it's also an experiment. All of the vocals were generated using AI technology. Hopefully the show will sound different and better as the tech improves and as we improve at using it. I'm Bob Meese, hoping you have an amazing day. We'll get together again soon.